Thanks for joining us as we unveil our exploration outlook for the next 5 years. Those of you who have followed our story closely since 2016 know just how important exploration has been to our value creation success. Patrick and his team have done a tremendous job by discovering 8.5 million ounces in a very short time frame. This has allowed us to extend the mine lives of core assets to beyond 10 years and to discover new projects. Following the acquisition of Semaphore and Teranga, the team has been busy developing a new 5-year exploration program to prioritize our exploration efforts and integrate the new assets. We've reshaped the team and applied the same unique ranking and screening methodology which has underpinned our success. The conclusion is that the team remains extremely bullish on the prospectivity of our portfolio. Our new target over the next 5 years is to discover 15 to 20 million ounces of indicated resources, which represents more than 2 times our mine depletion. The reason we're here today is because the exploration team remains committed to being accountable and transparent. Just like our operations team is accountable for production and cost, and our project team is accountable for timelines and capex. The same way, our exploration team is accountable for the money they spend and the ounces they discover. It's important for them to be able to compete for capital within our capital allocation framework. And of course, if they keep finding higher grade ounces and new projects for less than $25 per ounce, for sure we'll continue to be more than happy to invest in their success. I will now let Patrick recap our unique exploration approach and detail our 5-year discovery outlook. Given the strength of our exploration team and its depth, we've also asked Eric, Jono, and Sylvia, who are the VPs in charge of explorations for respectively Senegal, Burkina Faso, and Côte d'Ivoire, to provide further details by asset. Patrick, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Sébastien, and hi everyone. Before we dive into the presentation, I think it's really important to highlight the golden opportunity in West Africa. You would have seen from our Investor Day that Endeavour is strategically positioned as the largest producer in West Africa, which now ranks as the second largest gold producing region globally. The rapid production growth that the region has experienced has been supported by the industry's significant exploration success and ever-growing focus. In fact, the region now ranks 4th in terms of exploration budget and 1st in terms of discoveries over the past decade. Yet, there remains tremendous opportunity in this vastly underexplored region. This explains why we continue to remain bullish on West Africa. We have discovered up to 8.5 million indicated ounces since 2016, and we now account for roughly 15% of the West African exploration spend, which places us as a top explorer in the region. Based on the success of our previous 5 years exploration strategy and the prospectivity of our land package, we are now ready to take the next step and announce our exploration strategy for the next 5 years, which now incorporates our newly acquired assets. As an executive summary of this strategic review, we can say that we are targeting to discover between 15 to 20 million ounces of new indicated resources during the next 5 years. This ambitious number corresponds to 2 times our production depletion during the same period, and we want to do so at below $25 an ounce, which would result in significant value creation. Given our success, I often get asked, Patrick, what's the secret? Before detailing our 5 years discovery target, let me first start by explaining our approach in more details. It all starts by asking ourselves, why do we explore? Being a geologist, I can of course be a dreamer, but being an executive of a mining company, I also need to be as realistic as possible and indeed think about how, where, and when exploration can and must contribute to our bottom line. I don't want exploration to be seen as a cost center, but rather as a great investment. So, why do we explore? Put simply, the exploration role is to find new answers with the highest margin that we can produce as fast as possible. Full stop. Let's never forget that we are a gold producer. So our job across the various departments of the company is to produce gold. And we are extremely proud of our track record since 2016. First, our global discovery cost has been lower than $25 per ounce. This is an important KPI. Our exploration primary goal is to bring new quality ounces to the company that are far less expensive than acquiring them on the market. When we joined in 2016 the company, our average mine life was only 4 years. The core of our exploration strategy was then to extend mine life to beyond 10 years and also to be able to provide investors with a strong outlook. Over this period, we discovered, as said, 8.5 million indicated ounces. This represents over 2 times the 5 years depletion and allows us now to boast 11 years of production visibility. Because of the average grade of most of our discovery was higher than the one of our existing resources, we were also able to bring forward higher quality ounces with some key discoveries even being brought into production less than 3 years after the first discovery hole. And lastly, we met our objective of discovery a new project that could be developed as a standalone to feed the pipeline. Underpinning our success in West Africa are these 4 themes that we'll be discussing in the upcoming slides. Number 1 is obviously aligning exploration with corporate objectives. Number 2 is building on our strategic foothold in West Africa. Number 3 is utilizing efficiently our experienced team who had already a strong record of success. And finally, number 4 is maintaining and nurturing our strong local stakeholder relations. To take the first of these themes, exploration strategy and programs are directly aligned with our corporate objective of producing at an all-in sustaining cost of less than $900 from assets that can produce at more than 200,000 ounces per year for at least 10 years. As I'll explain later, our ranking and screening methodology therefore ensures that we don't waste effort and money on drill targets that can't meet these objectives. This economical input is embedded with the selection and ranking we conduct on our exploration portfolio. Given our success, exploration will continue to be a core part of our capital allocation framework. In order to compete for capital, it's really important for me to be able to commit and deliver on both our discovery target size and quality and discovery cost. Given the strong confidence in our ability to find answers, our board is able to sign off on a 5-year exploration budget principle. This is very important as exploration is a continuous process, which should not be a function that can be turned off and on. It is not a stop-and-go activity. Having this type of visibility ahead of us allows us to propose and deliver multi-year programs designed to match our longer-term objectives, to ensure continuous new target generation and follow-ups, and of course, to allow us to retain people and expertise. What is particularly pleasing is that through the success of our exploration program, several of our recent discoveries are already in production and generating increased cash flows. These increased cash flows has not only allowed us to offer attractive return to our shareholders through dividends and buybacks, but also to allocate more funds when required toward exploration, both near our existing mine and also on greenfield projects, allowing us to better prepare for the future. Africa has a number of productive gold belts, but the Birimian ones of West Africa are some of the most prolific ones on the continent. A key to our success has of course been the quality and the high prospectivity of the ground we control. And today we control 110 properties covering more than 17 6,000 square kilometers of Birimian grounds. A recent exhaustive analysis of all the data included in our very large database allowed us to identify over 200 possible targets carrying various levels of knowledge and confidence. This places us as a dominant player in the region and well poised to grasp its exploration potential. Looking at the map, you see that Côte d'Ivoire and Burkina Faso contain approximately 60% of Birimian belt, yet only account for only 25% of the gold production. This shows indirectly how underexplored these areas are compared to other more mature exploration grounds and the great potential they offer. We believe that two of the most prospective and underexplored belts in the region are the Ity belt in Côte d'Ivoire and the Houndé belt in Burkina Faso. Regarding the Ity belt, we now control the full 125-kilometer trend, while at the Houndé belt, we now have a controlling stake with two important mines and several areas which may house other potential standalone projects. These are world-class belts, and I wouldn't be surprised if, in 20 years, there was a mine every 50 kilometers. Breaking it down a bit further, let's look at Burkina Faso. We are by far the largest exploration permit holder here, with a particular focus on the highly prospective greenstone belt in the southwest of the country. Since the integration of Semafo and Teranga, we have increased our permit holding by threefold, from 31 permits covering just under 3,000 square kilometers to up to 74 licenses, over 9,000 square kilometers covering now nearly 30% of the entire Houndé belt. Our exploration tenure covers nearly 7% of the greenstone belt in Burkina Faso, which is for our team an incredible achievement and puts us in a really strong position to deliver on our strategy. Moving now to Côte d'Ivoire. As just discussed, the Ity belt is a prized foothold for us, and we have been very successful in the recent years there. Along the belt and beside the Ity mine area, there are still some very large anomalies which have not been thoroughly drilled and which have the potential to be, by themselves, standalone mines. Beyond the Ity trend, we also have a significant holding in selected areas and clusters of license across the rest of Côte d'Ivoire. This includes the Fetekro license, which is a highly successful project generated only through exploration success. In addition, we have a number of other properties, including Afima to the southeast of the country and the Iguela-Tanda cluster close to Ghana, both of which have a very strong potential. Moving to our third pillar, equally as important as the quality of our position on the ground is the quality of our exploration people. I am particularly proud of the team I have assembled. Our track record and ambitions allow us to work with the best exploration people in the region. We are very nimble for a large company, but have the right resource in the right places to enable us to move quickly and efficiently where necessary. I've tactically set up the team on a country basis. This allows us to move staff across each asset depending on the priorities, provide fresh perspective, and achieve significant cost synergies. During the last 5 years, high potential local professionals have been selected, trained, and grown toward high technical and management positions within the exploration organization, and we consider this as one of our major successes. We are now in the final year of our previous 5-year strategy, and I am extremely pleased to be able to say that we are on track to meet the goal that was defined in the third quarter of 2016. At the end of 2020, we have added 8.5 million ounces at a discovery cost below $25 per ounce. By the end of 2021, we will have added more than 10 million ounces in total over our 2016 perimeter only, and therefore accomplished what we were set to do 5 years ago. Here we see from 2016 till 2020 where the success has come from. Our key focus was on extending the mine life of our core assets to beyond 10 years, And this was achieved at both Ity and Houndé, while Tabacato and Agbau were divested. We are also very pleased to have exceeded our greenfield discovery objectives. As I'll detail later, these were risked indicated resources and therefore factored a higher probability of occurrence. Given the greater geological information available on near mine targets, a greater probability of occurrence was applied compared to greenfield targets where less and lower quality information is available. Back in 2016, one of the core objectives for our exploration program was not only to replace depletion, but also to grow even more our resource, so to be able to extend most of the mine lives. As you can see on the chart, each year we have continuously added more ounces than depleted our resource, achieving a rate of 2 times the rate of depletion since 2016. This year, we are continuing our success story and we are on track to discover more than 2.5 million ounces of indicated resource to our bottom line. Back in 2016, our main objectives were not only to increase our flagship mine life up to 10 years, which we did, but also to bring to the company through greenfield exploration what could be our next standalone development project. Fetekro, which was back then our first priority greenfield project, is for us a great example of the success of our approach, where we have delivered an Endeavour site project with promising economics for only $21 million invested in exploration since 2018 and following the initial discovery in 2017. The Fetekro project, centered around Lafigué deposit, had delivered through our recently published PEFS favorable economics, infrastructure, and most importantly, favorable geology. We are continuing to explore the whole Fetekro land package with our effort targeted right now at drilling in between Lafigué North and Lafigué South and other nearby targets. We expect to increase the resource base later on this year and to incorporate this in our ongoing definitive feasibility study. But discovery is only the start. After all, what is the use of discovering new deposits without the ability to bring them as quickly as possible into production? The speed with which we moved has enabled us to crystallize the exploration value. I don't know any other company that has been able to go from discovery to production in less than 3 years. And we were able to do this on several new discoveries. This has been possible because we moved fast to either eliminate low-quality targets and quickly advance delineate more attractive ones. And believe me, boy, we go fast. We can shift our priorities and budget accordingly to accelerate the timeline of the project. If needed, we can shift drills from one site to another site very quickly. In the past, we have been able to drill more than 400,000 meters in 1 year on a particular site to fast-track a project. We have drilled over 1,000 holes in a year. Think about all the cores, samples preparation, QA/QC, data processing, and analysis that entails. And because we don't want to waste time, we have drilled systematically straight to the indicated category for our maiden resource, so that the mining guys can quickly start planning and convert them quickly into probable reserves. The bottleneck to production is often the environmental and societal studies required for the application for a new exploitation license. As such, as soon as we have a good sniff or some early confidence in the economical implication of what we discover, we start immediately the environmental study and begin engagement with government authority for the mining permit application. A good example of all this is at our Houndé mine, where we brought the Kari area resource from discovery to production in just 3 years. Next, I'd like to talk about our stakeholder relations and how they underpin our exploration success. Our leading position in the region helps us maintain strong support and alignment with host government. We all have a shared goal of discovering quality ounces and bringing them into production. And this is enabled by a clear permitting roadmap. Most important from the exploration side is that we are not alone. Given that we are a large producer in the area, we are capable of leveraging the infrastructure and teams available in country and at mine sites. This is a huge advantage and why we are so keen to maintain focused exploration efforts where we have a continuous operating presence. Endeavour has a dedicated community relations team who are responsible for our stakeholder engagement and CSR programs. All the teams are nationals, so they are attuned to the local culture and customs, which is very important. You can't just arrive in an area and start drilling without first sensitizing the local community and performing certain customs. Equally important is making sure there is a continuity when a deposit passes from exploration to the operational phase. That's why we work closely with the site-based social performance team to ensure there is a proper handover of relationship and of understanding all our commitment. We strive to represent our local community and national, and I am pleased to say that over our entire exploration portfolio, roughly 70% of our exploration managers are already nationals. Alongside developing local talent within Endeavour, we also have a strong relationship with key universities in West Africa, which is a useful recruiting ground. As a team, we have a global philosophy of empowering our people and enabling them to make decisions on the ground as the drilling is taking place. This demonstrates a high level of confidence in our local team and ensures we minimize bureaucracy around decisions, improve accountability, and in the end deliver strong results. Now that I've given you some of the secrets to our success, we'll move to section 2 to detail our new 5-year discovery outlook. I would like first to describe our methodology and original approach, because it is in our view crucial to explain why and how we fix our discovery objective and the reason of our successes. My own background was initially oil and gas. And in my previous professional life, I used to manage a large-scale exploration portfolio containing a high number of prospects. And our success was clearly measured by comparing the amount of barrels discovered compared to the money that was spent. When I moved to the gold space, I was quite surprised that almost everyone announces how many dollars will be spent in exploration without clearly mentioning the amount of ounces to be discovered. Back in 2016, our exploration portfolio was already quite large, and we identified through an exhaustive technical review and a multi-criteria systematic analysis a quite large number of potential targets. After several phases of screening and ranking, the remaining number of quality targets kept in our book was still quite high. And in order to determine what could be the total ounce quantity that could be expected from the full portfolio, each target went through a Monte Carlo type simulation aiming at determining what could be the mean ounce and grade value from each of them. Indeed, since all the selected targets could not be all possibly positive, a probability of occurrence or risk factor was then applied to each of them, representing in fact the degree of confidence we had in describing the deposit we were looking for. Each selected target being independent, the portfolio theory allowed us to estimate the total amount of ounces that could be statistically expected from our entire portfolio by simply adding all the risk mean indicated resource. It should be noted that this type of approach is justified due to the large size of our portfolio containing a very high number of targets. But this method is not really suitable for smaller size portfolio containing a limited amount of targets. The slide represents the path that has been followed during our recent review of our large portfolio extending now over more than 70,000 square kilometers, and is an extremely brief, believe me, summary of numerous months of hard technical analysis and work and related large-scale Excel sheets. We first started our technical analysis by referencing and selecting more than 200 targets identified by incorporating and crossing all possible supporting data from geological maps, sections, structural data, geophysics, geochemistry, regolith analysis, alteration profile, drilling, core, analysis, etc. Further review and challenge of the data led us to eliminate the most risky ones, or the ones that would lead, for example, to too low grade or associated with high strip ratio, or even to avoid some refractory characteristic. Finally, each of the 100 targets which passed our second screening phase went through a deeper analysis, aiming at determining, in case they were a positive discovery, what could be their mean size in terms of ounces and grade. According to the principle I quickly described before, each of them was then characterized by a probability of occurrence which gave us the risk mean indicated resource that could be reasonably expected from each of them. And finally, to complete the exercise, since we cannot possibly explore the high number of targets within the next 5 years, a further and final selection was done to eliminate the more risky targets and the ones that could not be addressed during the next 5 years, such as the very deep located ones. In the end, we remain with a selection of some 70 targets thought to best represent the quality and the quantity of ounces that could be expected from our exploration portfolio in the next 5 years. As a result, the sum of all the risk mean resource on where the portfolio represent 15 to 20 million ounces, which therefore correspond to our expectation. Here you see in dark blue are our current M&I resource at end of 2020, and in gray what we expect to discover per area or project according to our portfolio analysis. As a summary, the result of our strategic analysis promotes our ambition to discover between 15 to 20 million ounces in the indicated resource category over the next 5 years, while still keeping the discovery cost below $25 per ounce. At each of our assets, we see potential to more than replace depletion. Achieving this goal will provide us with production stability, but also allow us for strategic flexibility as we advance new deposits and evaluate future potential projects. What this outlook is also showing is that when factoring in historical production, Sabodala-Massawa, Houndé and Ity have all the potential to be over 10 million ounces endowments and are expected to account for the bulk of our future discoveries. While we have several greenfield targets which may yield each of them the potential to be a new project, in this plan we used a quite conservative approach. We consider that only one of all our greenfield projects would be successful. And accordingly, we have only included in our plan 2 million ounces for greenfield discovery. Of course, the goal is to significantly exceed this. This discovery target from greenfield may seem low compared to the high quality of our target, but this is understandable because of the low probability of occurrence generally applied to greenfield target, as opposed to stronger probability applied on near mine target. Of note, we did not add Karma because it's a non-core mine, and we have prioritized Fetekro over Kalana for our project-related exploration. As previously presented in our H1 exploration update, this year we are having tremendous exploration success, and we anticipate an updated resource on several of our assets by year-end, including at Sabodala, Houndé, Ity, and Fetekro. Our 5-year plan calls for a continued strong focus on both near mine and greenfield exploration. Overall, we expect to maintain our current annual budget of roughly $80 million unchanged for the next 5 years. You see here how the spend is broken down per asset. This program should see us drilling, in average, more than 500,000 meters annually. This means that we will continue to be very busy and we will need to move accordingly and quickly. You see here the targeted discovery cost set per asset or area. For the group, we are overall targeting to be at less than $25 per ounce. This is significantly lower than the global average discovery cost industry-wide. But of course, it's also a question of what you are discovering and how we believe are of high quality. Now, what I hope has come through is the theme of focusing on extending mine life and discovering new projects. We have had very good success in the past 5 years, and given our wider portfolio, we are very well positioned to continue that momentum. Fundamentally, our exploration strategy is designed to align with our corporate goals. We want to maintain our portfolio within the magic box that you can see on the bottom right. To achieve this, our objectives for the next 5 years are indeed similar to the ones that have enabled us to unlock significant value since 2016. As before, we still want to discover indicated ounces to come at a lower cost than $25 per ounce, to more than replace depletion, and to improve the quality of the production by focusing on higher grade discovery, and finally, to be quick to bring new discovery to production. In addition, we also want to feed our project pipeline with the discovery of at least one new standalone project that could be our next mine. After this introduction, I now invite you to listen to my 3 talented exploration VPs for Senegal, Burkina Faso, and Côte d'Ivoire to take you through some of the mine-by-mine detail of our strategic plan.
Hi, I am Eric Jacques. I have been with Endeavour for 5 years now, and earlier this year I had the pleasure of accepting a new position as VP Exploration for Senegal. My main focus today is our flagship Sabodala-Massawa mine, but the intention is to gradually increase our exploration focus across the country, given its prospectivity. Sabodala-Massawa is located within the highly prospective Mako Belt, which is a small greenstone belt outlier on part of the Biriman Belt in the southeast of Senegal. The Mako Belt sits between the Sofia-Sabodala shear zone and the main transcurrent zone. The main prolific structure on site has been woefully underexplored, but that's certainly to our benefit now. As we have seen so far, Sabodala-Massawa is a tremendous asset with the potential to get even better. During our exploration review, we successfully identified and delineated more than 15 potential targets within 30 kilometers of the Sabodala plant. Following this exhaustive review, we have established a target of discovering between 2.3 and 2.7 million ounces of indicated resources over the next 5 years, with most of the exploration focused within this radius. We are particularly excited because these targets only cover half of our 1240 square kilometers land package. As we continue to broaden our exploration area, the number of potential targets on site is expected to grow. It's interesting because Barrick, and prior to that, Rheingold, were both largely focused on discovering refractory ore resources on the Massawa permit to improve the scope of the Massawa project itself. In our case, we are focused on generating immediate returns, given we have an operating plant on site. Our goal is to add high-grade ounces that will help ensure the plant is operating at its maximum capabilities for as long as possible. While we see additional upside within the combined Sabodala-Massawa envelope for both refractory or non-refractory resources, our short-term focus is on the non-refractory resources. The discovery of non-refractory resources will allow us to optimize the mine sequencing and grade profile to maximize returns from the Phase 1 expansion planned for completion later this year. Longer term, this will provide additional feed for the Phase 2 expansion. Our exploration efforts this year are mainly focused on Samina, Tina, Sofia North extension and Bombaraya targets. At the Samina deposit, we have extended the 500 meters mineralized strike length to more than 900 meters, while mineralization remains open to the north. Further testing is planned here for the second half of the year. Drilling conducted at the Tina deposit focused on expanding the inferred resources defined in 2019 and converting them further into indicated resources. The mineralized strike length has been extended by more than 300 meters, while the deposit remains open to the north and southeast. On the Sofia North deposits, followed up on previously identified Sofia North extension. The extension has now been identified to extend more than 800 meters along strike and is 150 meters wide, while remaining open to the north and at depth. To date, we have focused our activity on the Massawa lease, mainly on Samina, Tina and Sofia. Beyond this, we see further potential at Bombaraya, Makana, Tiwana and Tianga. This will be the next target we focus on. We are very excited about Bombaraya, as it's a high priority target residing within the Massawa permit on just 13 kilometers from the mill. It's a Lulo-type affiliated mineralization in a good setting that is gently dipping with good grades. We have now extended the mineralization to the north by more than 800 meters, and our drilling program has identified higher grades. While the Massawa permit will remain a priority, we will also advance exploration in the relatively underexplored Kanumba and Bronson permit, located 20 to 40 kilometers from the plain. Several prospects have been identified on this permit, and based on our understanding of the surrounding geology, we feel that these are highly prospective for additional high-grade refractory or non-refractory resources. Opportunity like this, while in too early a stage to be factored into our 5 years outlook, have the potential to provide significant upside in the longer term and will continue to deliver exploration success well into the future. We also see significant scope to generate new targets. We will look into flying a high-resolution airborne geophysics survey into the region to delineate the geology further and help identify additional targets. Given the blanket of unconsolidated rocky material covering the bedrock, there are a number of blind segments on the surface that the upcoming airborne geophysics will help in delineating further exploration work in the region. So, as you can see, Sabodala-Massawa is already a great asset with the potential to get even better as we continue our ambitious exploration program.
Hello, I am John Lawrence and I'm the VP Exploration for Burkina Faso. Prior to Endeavour, I was the Exploration Manager in Central and East Africa for Randgold, and then I joined Endeavour in 2016 to run exploration at Ity. Now I oversee all activities in Burkina, where we see tremendous exploration potential. Burkina's greenstone belts host a gold endowment of almost 90 million ounces of published mineral resources. The most prolific regions in terms of Houndé of known gold deposits are the Houndé, Goron, Tenkodogo, Manga, Fara and Gouma belts, totaling a combined 70% of the country's gold endowment. 4 deep-seated, long-lived regional structures and their splays contribute to the tremendous overall gold potential. The Grenville, Wongafatini, Boni and the Marcoy shear zones. We are now the largest exploration permit holder in Burkina, with particular focus on the highly prospective greenstone belts in the southwest of the country. Since our successful integration of the Samafo and Teranga assets, our permits holding has increased threefold, from 31 permits covering nearly 3,000 kilometres to 74 permits covering over 9,200 square kilometres. Our land holding covers nearly 7% of the greenstone belts in Burkina Faso and in particular 24% of the Houndé belt. This is an incredible foothold which puts us in a strong position to deliver on our exploration strategy. Our strategic target for Burkina is just shy of 9 million ounces from 38 target areas. with Houndé accounting for nearly 60%. Houndé, one of our flagship mines, is another example of our proven approach to exploring, developing and operating our assets. Since 2016, we've added an extra 2.6 million indicated ounces, including 2 1 million ounce deposits in the Kari area. Both of these are in production, and there remains a lot more to be discovered. The Wongo-Fatini and Bonny regional shears and their splays, which bound and transact the belt, are key exploration features. All deposits and exploration targets can be linked back to these structures. Understanding how these structures interact with host geology is the key to unlocking million-ounce discoveries. Following an exhaustive review of our exploration targets, our goal now is to discover 3 to 4 million ounces of indicated resources over the next 5 years. This would place Houndé as a 10 million ounce plus endowment. Very exciting. Our exploration efforts are currently focused on Vindaloo, Mambo, and the intersection between Kari Gap and Kari Centre. We are really excited by the drilling results at Mambo target, as it could prove to be a significant discovery. Geologically, Mambo is located in a very attractive setting at the boundary between a volcanic and a granitoid intrusive. Its mineralised trend now extends more than 800 metres, with pending drilling results expected to extend this strike length to between 1 and 1.2 kilometres. Mineralisation appears to be still open to the northeast, southwest and at depth, since it has been only tested down to approximately 150 metres. Step-out drilling in the second half of the year will target lateral extensions of Mambo, and initial maiden resources expected to be published before year-end. In the near term, we are also excited to drill out our higher grade targets such as Sianakui and Dawn. Next, we'll update you on the work we've been doing at Golden Hill, which is an advanced stage exploration property in the Houndé Belt within trucking distance of Houndé. It is made up of 3 exploration permits covering almost 700 square kilometres. Key features of the project include the Bonny Shear Zone and its splays, which transect the permits, and the high-grade mineralisation associated with these structures. We've uncovered an exciting exploration opportunity here with a new interpretation that mineralisation is associated with linking structures developed between the main Bonny Shear and a splay to the east. We believe that a successful drill validation of the concept will present an opportunity to extend mineralisation. Perhaps the most exciting target here is the Salaton intrusive complex. The intrusive is 4 kilometres by 3 kilometres in size. It hosts 3 of the 5 existing deposits on its margins. It's got visible gold, active artisanal mining, and there's strong geochemical anomalies over the central portion that remain untested by drilling. As you see, there is lots of potential near and around Houndé, which means that we'll be mining here for well beyond the 10-year mine life target. Although Mana has been in production for over a decade, we still see significant exploration potential. Following the integration of Mana within our business plan, we structured the team to provide a fresh perspective. Given it is a mature exploration area, there's a strong need to reinterpret existing data sets and incorporate more structure and geology into the targeting strategy where there was a strong focus on geochemistry. We are now building on the geochemical sampling that has been a very successful exploration tool, allowing us to find numerous deposits and targets. Mana is made up of 9 exploration permits and 1 mining permit, which cover over 1,300 square kilometres of the highly prospective Houndé Greenstone Belt. The Grenville, Wongo-Fatini, Bonny Shears and their splays have been the source for all known Mana deposits to date. 3 different styles of mineralisation have been identified here: non-refractory sulfides, high-grade quartz, coarse gold, and high-grade refractory sulfides. The primary objective is to increase the mine life to closer to 10 years. Samafa had completed extensive exploration in the past, but we now see considerable additional opportunity remaining. Following our exhaustive review, the discovery target for Mana has been set at 1 to 1.5 million ounces. Our program is focused on evaluating oxide open pit targets within 20 kilometres of the plant, such as Mayoula, and evaluating underground targets at Siou and Yafe. We see good potential to continue to increase the Wona and Siou underground resources, which offer potential to extract high-grade mineralisation. In addition, it's interesting to note that the other historic Mana open pit deposits are constrained by relatively shallow drilling due to the refractory nature of the sulfide ore. We have not yet considered this refractory resource potential into our 5-year discovery target, but it does offer significant upside potential, especially if we should, at a later date, decide to attempt to unlock the refractory value of the operations. As you see, despite Mana being a mature asset, we see good potential to extend its mine life. Having been commissioned by Teranga in the 4th quarter of 2019, Wahgnion is the youngest mine in our portfolio, and it offers huge exploration potential. Wahgnion is located only 60 kilometres to the northeast of Barrick's 3 million ounce plus Tongon gold deposit in Côte d'Ivoire. It sits within our 100% controlled, highly prospective Lumana-Sinofo greenstone belt. Key features for the project include its large intrusive complex with multiple shear directions, non-refractory mineralisation, and a large mining permit which covers numerous drill-ready targets. The Wahgnion mine was developed quite quickly, and many pits were brought and opened at the same time in order to feed the plant, which was running at 30% above nameplate capacity. As a result, some of the deposits have only been drilled down to rather shallow depths or along a limited length, and as a result, we believe significant upside remains at depth and on trend within the existing deposits as they are known today. Following our exhaustive screen, we've established a target of discovering 1.5 to 2 million ounces of indicated resources over the next 5 years. The exploration program will focus on open pit targets within 10 kilometres of the existing plant. Short-term focus is on both Nogbele north and south areas, targeting the continuation of mineralised structures beneath and between the Nogbele pits. Over the longer term, a number of the satellite deposits and targets will be subject to a multi-year effort, given we see significant upside potential. At Boungou, following our exhaustive review, our target is to discover 1 to 1.5 million ounces of indicated resources, which represents doubling the current resource estimate, with the primary objective to extend the mine life towards our 10-year target. Our focus is on evaluating near mine targets. Geochemical sampling, both soils and auger, has been a very successful exploration tool at Boungou. It's identified over 36 exploration targets to date. In the near term, we will focus on 6 exciting targets close to the mine that we've begun testing. Our targets are higher grade and focus in 2 key areas where we can count on concentrated support from regional security teams. These are brownfield targets within 10 kilometres to the north of the mine, where there is a structural complexity and a rotation of the shears proximal to a felsic intrusives. Our other target is around Dangu northeast, a high-grade greenfield target which locates within 20 kilometres of Djapaga, a regional urban centre. Mineralisation at Boungou is hosted by the shallow dipping Boungou shear and the larger, more steeply dipping TN45 structure. Highlighting areas with higher grade mineralisation and defining the geologic reasons for the higher grade are important in outlining future discoveries. Reinterpretation of the geophysical and geologic data sets will help delineate structural and lithologic controls to the mineralisation. The drilling conducted at Natugu Northwest identified a zone of higher grade mineralisation in the hanging wall of the Boungou shear that trends north-northwest and extends for more than 700 metres. It remains open to the north. Drilling in the second half of the year will focus on delineating this trend. At Boungou Northwest, drilling evaluated the continuation of the Boungou shear mineralisation, but down plunge to the northwest of the mine. Initial results are promising, and a complete review of all drill results expected later this year will guide follow-up drilling in 2022. As you see, we are extremely excited about the exploration potential in Burkina Faso, and given our strategic positioning as the largest gold producer, we believe that we are well positioned to grasp this opportunity. In addition to our near mine exploration, we are excited by our greenfield exploration, which includes Bantou, Liguidi, and other significant exploration areas which are bound to generate new projects. Beyond our Houndé belt focus, we feel there is significant longer-term potential in the belts where we currently have less of a presence, particularly those along the Marcoy shear zone. As Patrick mentioned, our goal is to find at least one greenfield project. And given this potential in Burkina, we are very confident that our efforts are likely to generate Endeavour's next greenfield project.
Hello, I'm Silvia Bottero. I'm the VP of Exploration in Côte d'Ivoire, where over the last 5 years we have discovered over 4.8 million ounces of indicated resources. Prior to join Endeavour, I was with La Mancha and focused on the ET mine, where we enjoyed a huge exploration success. Our current success is the direct result of a highly prospective portfolio and our experienced exploration team with the motivation to continue making discoveries and adding value to the company. At ET, we are incredibly proud of how the mine looks today, how well it is the operating and the reserves that we have. This is in large contrast to when I started working the mine in 2012, when it had only 2 years of reserves. Today, it has a very bright future with a capacity to produce 2,500 ounces per year for at least another 10 years, and probably much longer. The success of our near mining exploration program, discovering approximately 2.3 million ounces in the last 5 years, was the driver to upgrade the small-scale heap leach operating into a large CIL plant. We have established a 5-year discovery target of 3.5 to 4.5 million ounces of indicated resources at ET. The ET area is characterized by a series of granodioritic intrusion into a volcanic sedimentary sequence, which includes some carbonate units, and the geological setting here is considerably more complex than our other targets because we have 2 distinctly different deposit types at ET. First, the typical shear-hosted gold deposit associated with a major regional northeast shear zone. And second, we have the polymetallic skarns that are developed on the margin of the granodiorite bodies that intruded into carbonate units. The skarn type ore and the karstic supergene reconcentration by volume loss is unusual in no Birimian deposit. Exploration at ET has primarily focused on the area close to the mine, and as we have tended to focus on the larger opportunities in the ET area in order to maintain plant throughput and to extend the mine life, we have been somewhat remiss in following up the near mine smaller wins and the shallow small resources like Verse Est until recently. We have now begun reassessing these targets. Exploration efforts in the near term will be focused on the Le Plaque South area, on the Yopleux-les-Galeux extension, on what is now a new discovery named West Flotuo, on Dapleux Deep, and on the area located and the junction between Bacatuo and Walter deposit. A full geological reinterpretation of the area led us to aggressively drill the West Flotuo target, which is located immediately below an old West waste dump. This led us to validate and also extend the discovery of a series of continuous high-grade mineralized lenses located in the immediate proximity of the ET plant. Delineation is currently ongoing, and this new discovery, which remain open along strike and on depth, will have a new maiden resources published prior to the year end. In terms of Le Plaque, the area is open both laterally and at depth, and in the delta extension area, and we are expecting an updated Le Plaque resource estimate by the end of this year. The recently drilled Yopleux-les-Galeux area has also delivered some promising drill results, and which we expected should contribute to the Plaque area resources updated later this year. Very positive drilling was also conducted at depth at Dapleu. The results clearly confirm that mineralization continues at depth according to our model, and now extends at least 300 meters down deep on the deepest current pit design. Finally, drilling conducted at the junction between the Bacatuo and Voltaire deposit confirmed the continuity of the mineralization between both skarntine deposit and illustrates the global continuity of mineralization around the whole dioritic, granodioritic ET intrusion. As you can see, given all the targets and their potential, we expect to define more ounces at ET and for it to continue to have a very long mine life. Fetekro is a great example of the success of our approach, where we have delivered an Endeavour sites project with promising economics from an exploration investment of $21 million since 2018. The recently published pre-feasibility study for the Fetekro project demonstrates strong economics with an NPV of around $500 million at a $1,500 gold price. This represents a 23 times return on exploration capital, with more than 50,000 meters having been completed since the last resources update. An updated resource estimate is now expected to be published later this year. Within our 5-year exploration program, we see potential to add 1.2 to 1.8 million ounces of indicated resources. The Fetekro property is located in the northern part of the Ume-Fetekro greenstone belt, 300 kilometers long and 20 kilometers wide Birimian geological formation. This belt, which hosts the Agbaou, Ire and Bonikro mines, is one of the most productive Birimian belts in Côte d'Ivoire. The Lafigué gold deposit is the main discovery on the Fetekro property and has now been traced over 2 kilometers along a east-northeast axis and over 1 kilometer down deep. The geology consists of a mafic volcanic complex intruded by granodioritic bodies and affected by a north-northeast shear and east-northeast thrust resulting from a sinistral transpressive deformation. The mineralization is controlled by a thrust, gently dipping to the south-southeast, and occurs as free gold in quartz vein stockwalls and silicification zones, accompanied by tourmaline, carbonates, chlorite, and sulfide alteration. What is most exciting about Fetekro is that some mineralized extensions have been delineated where pinching and swelling and early been misunderstood, and that the mineralization remains still open. Lafigué North, a small part of the exploration program, focused on converting some of the remaining inferred resources into indicated resources. But most of the activity really focused in the area located in between Lafigué Center and Lafigué North deposit. The results of these aggressive drilling activities were extremely successful and demonstrated the continuity of the mineralized system with the occurrence of shallow, subparallel, and stacked mineralized lenses that were previously located outside of the 2020 resources pit. All these newly discovered mineralization zones will now be included in the new resource estimate, which will support the ongoing definitive feasibility study. Looking beyond the Fetekro, we are also excited about a number of our other greenfield exploration properties in Côte d'Ivoire, including the Bunduku property and Afima, as well as several other earlier stage properties elsewhere in the country. As Patrick mentioned earlier, in addition to extending mine lives, our aim is to discover another greenfield project for the company. And considering the quality of our portfolio, I'm sure that this can be done again in Côte d'Ivoire.
We hope that you have enjoyed the presentation and can now understand why we are so excited about our exploration potential within our portfolio. Believe me, these 15 to 20 million ounces that we expect to discover over the next 5 years are indeed very ambitious. But given our proven methodology and quality of our team, we do believe that these are conservative estimates which we can and will achieve. For us, it's a question of being proud of what we do and accountable for the money we spend. And for you, our investors, this represents high potential to unlock value.